Hey everyone, Brian here from Vintage Classic Specialist. Happy Friday everyone. It is time for another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So another super hot day here in Southern California, especially for this time of year. If it was like August or September, I wouldn't think too much about it, but mid to high 90s in March is it's a bit much. This is like about 96 again in the shop. And fans and drinking tons and tons of water only go so far. Anyway, I'm not here to complain about the weather, just a little tidbit there of day in the life of a mechanic here. Anyhow, so why don't we start off with this beauty here, since I'm already sort of pointed at it. So this is the 69 cowlet car that we built, aka VW Halen. And the last car that we had painted at an outside body shop, and customers had it since I think like in the fall or something like that. I don't remember exactly when he got it, but anyway, the paint developed some cracks, and so we fixed them. And there were quite a few. We went over the car with a pretty fine tooth comb and probably fixed 8 places, 10. I don't know. There was a bunch. Anyway, and our painter Rene, so there was like a crack here and one here, and let's see, I don't even remember where they all were now, and he did such a good job you can't really find them. There was something here somewhere. There was definitely one here, which I think was the main one that he noticed, and I think there might have been something back here. And I think there was something on the roof. Anyway, the point is that the paint match was good, and then my guy has insane blending skills because paint match is never like literally 100%. It's always off a teeny tiny bit, but that's where blending comes in. And a highly skilled guy like our very own Rene, and so it looks amazing. Did the blend and then re-clear coated the panels in question, and then color sand and buffed them. I think he still needs to do like a little bit more buffing in a couple areas, but overall, guys, very happy with how it's looking now, and hopefully it'll last a while now. So obviously the gas cap lid has to go back on. That's what I took for paint matching, but so that's kind of good to have that over with, or we're doing that under warranty, so to speak. So basically bleeding money while it's being repaired, but that's okay. We got to take care of our customers. He's a good guy, and he let us build him a bitchin' car, so it all works out in the end. Anyway, also for him today came his amplifier. So he wanted more power in his stereo for listening to Van Halen and other classic rock, I guess. And the head unit, the retro sound head unit in the car, just wasn't quite cutting it. I think he really likes blasting through the canyon with the top open, probably windows down, so lots of wind noise to overcome. So even with some 6x9s in the back, and then some I remember what these are, like 6 inches, 6.5 up here in these pods, it needs more power pushing those. So had a good conversation with the guys at one of the guys at Retro Sound, and they convinced me that rather than upgrading his head unit, that made way more sense to put in an amp and get some serious power out of that thing, and probably more clean power than what he would get out of the radio itself anyway. So the other thing that the guy from Retro Sound suggested was that the key on power for the radio, that we actually run that off a relay to make sure that it's getting plenty of power, because he suspects that the reason the radio sort of froze like it did, which is one of the main reasons the car came in, was because his radio had like locked up basically and wouldn't turn off, and seems to have drained his battery. So guy from Retro Sound suggested putting a relay in there on the key on side of the radio, and hopefully that'll take care of it by supplying a more sort of like beefy current supply. So there you go. Those two things are going in. And of course, if you follow the channel, you know that the Berg shifter had an issue, which Berg fixed on the spot for me, and that's why this car is like never shifted that great. you know, Berg's quality is probably second to none, but you know, even they have issues occasionally, and this is not an exception. The little cable in there was not crimped well or something, and the little pin down here was in the wrong place, and just kind of a fluke, I guess, because I'm sure that's not something they have happening often. But anyway, so yeah, that's fixed. That's going to go in. Paint's fixed. Tweaked his idle, some other things like that while it's here. So that would be it for that one. So this guy, who seems to be ready to go, spent a little bit of time this morning on it, just like checking lights and stuff like that, making sure everything worked, check the wipers. Pretty sure we checked all this stuff before, but you know, before a car leaves the shop, we like to kind of go around and make sure everything works. Took it for about a 17-mile drive today, which is what I call my torture test. If you're familiar with the Orange area, if you get on Lincoln from over here by our neck of the woods, Batavia, and you take Lincoln heading east, then once you cross Tustin, or maybe once you cross under the 55 or whatever that is over there, it changes name to Knoll Ranch Road, I think. And there's this hill that's pretty steep and just never seems to end. And so, yeah, I took this thing up that hill, up and up and up. And I did it in third gear. And it's one of those hills where, at least for the gearing for this bus, it's kind of like third gear was a little bit too high, but second would have been way too low. It's just, it's kind of a bitch of a hill, excuse the language. But yeah, anyway, I powered up it in third gear and the bus did fine. And then if you keep following that, follow it, eventually it kind of turns around toward the south and heads uphill again, like maybe not quite as long a hill, but I think it's steeper, and that takes you to Serrano. But anyway, that part of Knoll Ranch Road heading up the hill towards Serrano is super steep. That one I actually did do most of it in second gear. Luckily, it's 2 lanes in each direction, and so I, of course, stayed off to the right and let people go around me. But yeah, super good torture test. The bus didn't miss a beat, ran great the whole time. Of course, they're slow. It's still got reduction boxes, and even with 87 foot-pounds of torque and 55 horsepower, which is way more than a 40 horse would have ever made, they're still slow, guys. Anyway, but yeah, bus performed great. And so, yeah, I think I need to start chatting with the owner and see when he wants to arrange to come get it. And in the meantime, maybe take it on another drive or two and crawl around it and stuff like that. But yeah, this one's pretty much seems to be done. So very, very exciting. So that was how I started my morning for the most part. And then after that, I changed gears, so to speak, no pun intended, and got back to this one for a while. And I went ahead and installed the rear backing plates and bearing caps and stuff like that. So the bearing caps I'd prepared yesterday as far as putting the seals and stuff in them. And so today I had to prepare the backing plates. Usually when you have these powder coated, the inside diameter of the backing plates is too small to fit on the axle end housing. So you have to go and like scrape powder coating from the inside diameter of the backing plates. And again, this is why I always stress like test fitting, dry fitting everything before you go and like start putting sealant on stuff. Just dry fit things first to make sure they fit and do what you need to. Once they fit, then start applying sealant and stuff like that, and you will save yourself many a headache and probably use far less swear words. But anyway, so yeah, those went on pretty standard stuff. And one little detail I wanted to show you guys that I was pretty happy with is we pretty much save all the parts until we're completely done with them as far as like replacing them or whatever. But one thing is, and again, I should have my light with me, but there is a cap here on the top of the Z-bar link assembly, and nobody manufactures that cap. However, I dug hers out, which again we had kept, and there's 2 of them, there's one on each side, and cleaned them up, and they cleaned up really nice. They're still very nice and compliant. So I went ahead and put those on. So a nice little detail, because when you buy the rebuild kits for these, they don't come with this little cover, and no one makes it to my knowledge. So very cool. They still have a VW stamp with the part number and stuff on them. So super cool little detail that probably no one will ever see, but it's still, that kind of stuff makes us happy. We're kind of weird like that. So that was the back of this car. The front of the car got its steering box. And so steering box is a little bit bigger job than you might think it would be, because usually what I do is I test fit it and I try and adjust, you know, kind of the tilt of it about right where it's going to go as far as being lined up with the where the steering shaft is going to go. And then I mark the beam, and then I remove the steering box, and then I basically go and like grind the paint off the beam where the steering box is going to sit. And that is very important for the ground that has to come through the chassis, through the front beam, through the steering box, and then ultimately through this shaft here, and then through the steering column ultimately. So yeah, if this ground here is not good, forget about having a good horn. So yeah, just one of those little details that you don't want to forget, or you may not have a horn, or you may have a horn that's pretty pathetic. Got to be a good ground right here between the steering box and the beam. Elsewise, forget about having a good horn. So yeah, it's just time consuming to do a neat job. And so yeah, I did that. Had to run a tap through the holes on the steering box so the bolts would go in properly. And the powder coaters, for some reason, they never think to plug these holes, which are of course tapered holes for the tie rod ends. So went and cleaned those out and fitted the pitman arm after I got the steering box on. And I think that is about it on this one, guys. So the other major thing, oh, this one I cleaned today. I felt bad. It was getting so dusty. So first thing I did this morning was give this one a bath with rinseless car wash, and just cleans up amazing, guys. I love the paint job on this car, which again, we didn't paint. Somebody I think had painted it at some point, and they did a really nice job. We touched up a few areas on this car, but overall this paint job is, and we actually like color sanded and buffed it and really, you know, kind of brought it out. But yeah, this is a super nice paint job. Whoever painted this car back in the day, I don't think it's original paint anyway. I'm pretty sure there's clear coat on here. Anyway, regardless of what paint it is, it's a nice paint job. So yeah, anyway, finally cleaned this thing because it was just looking sad. So it's basically sitting here waiting for its motor, which is that hot rod motor right there. So let me give you guys a sneak peek of the interior panels on the green bus. So hold on one second. Okay guys, we're back. So yeah, just a quick sneak peek. The panels are still not all the way in, but look at that, guys. Love it. So yeah, I think these are probably going to be all in tomorrow. So I will hopefully be able to show that. If not, I'll show it Monday. I don't know if how late he's going to be working tomorrow finishing this up. If I don't show it on tomorrow's episode, then probably Monday, but should be worth the wait, guys, because it is looking pretty amazing. All right, let's go back inside. Well, all right, everyone. I believe that is it for today. As I mentioned, I will be here for part of the day tomorrow. I think Rene and Santiago are also going to be here tomorrow for at least a while, or maybe most of the day. So we'll see what happens around here tomorrow. So in the meantime, thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.